Bad Boys, Texas. I have some opinions, as usual. You know, a lot of my opinions about some of the boys have changed. I've watched so many Instagram lives on YouTube of the boys, and it's just so much that has happened since the show wrapped. I don't know if it's going to be a reunion. Some people say it is, some people say it ain't. I don't know, but let's just get into this episode, okay? So, the first thing we see is Adonis and Relly. Y'all know Adonis and Relly had a situation back in the day. And so Relly is kind of committed to giving Adonis a hard time. And but I'm not gonna judge it too hard because I don't know their history fully. They've never talked about it really. And maybe Adonis was really awful to Relly back then, so who knows. But anyway, so Relly comes out. He was like, "Hey, what's up, ugly?" And started talking back and forth and conversing. Adonis complimented Darrell on his clothes, and he was saying some smart back or whatever. And then Relly was like, "Oh, I like them pants that you made for Jonathan, for his birthday party. Then maybe you can make my man some." Adonis was just like, "I think not." And Adonis was just like, "Oh, I saw everybody like complimenting you at the club, and oh, really this, really that." His supporters and fans. And he was just like, "As they should, as they should." And I was just like, "Oh, I have so many opinions about because I've just seen so much now from the guys. Some of the guys that I did not like, I like somewhat now. Some of the guys that I loved, I don't necessarily like anymore. It's so much. It's so much. That's why, in a way, social media ruins certain things. For sure, because it's a lot. Because especially with Relly. Like, he's fun and a certain personality on the show. But outside the show, they say the girls are nasty child of people. And I mean, judging by his lives, I'm like, ooh, he's not as likable. For sure. So I don't know, but we'll talk about it. We might do a separate video on that one day. But let me just finish with this episode because I don't want it to be too long. So then all of a sudden, who we see? We see Chef D in Orlando, and then Jonathan ended up coming out, and it was just ranting and raving about Jonathan's party and how cool it was, and giving Adonis a little bit of a hard time, blah blah blah. Okay, so moving on from that, let me see. We have Ara, Carry On, Prince, Mo City, and Raz-B. They're all outside by the pool. Mo City, he takes it upon himself to apologize to Raz-B, but right before he can fully get the apology out, Ara jumped in the pool, child, with clothes on and mic'd up. I said, child. But Mo City was able to get his apology out to Raz-B. Raz-B started to discuss the money issue, the thing that I've been seeing from the beginning. All they do on these shows is go to the club and go to the strip club and drink and smoke and fight. That's it. And in any other way, any other order that you want to put it in, but that's all they do. And I'm just like, there has to be more to life. There has to be more to life. Normal people don't just do that on a regular basis. And it's just the big issue that I feel that people have with Zeus, or at least I have with Zeus, let me not generalize, is that there's no balance. The CEO, Lumiel, I believe that's his name, something like that. He don't do too many interviews, child. But one interview, I remember on Fox Soul that he did with Claudia Jordan, Funky Dineva, and oh God, I forgot his name. Like the light skinned dude that used to be married to Star Jones, I think. Is it Al? Something. Anyway, he did that interview and Dineva was reading them and giving it to him, and anyway, he was trying to compare his shows to like Real Housewives of Atlanta or the Love and Hip Hops or whatever. It's similar to the Love and Hip Hops, but at the end of the day, those shows show balance. Yes, we live for the drama. Yes, we live for. I mean, come on. It's just what it is. It's true T. But there's no balance on Zeus, and that's the problem. It just shows the negative. It just shows the drama. We don't see these people's families. We don't see their businesses. We don't see them going out to the grocery store. Like, we don't see them just doing normal stuff. Like, we don't see them in normal situations. We don't see them walking in the park. It's just we don't see the positive thing, the positive aspects that I know that they all do, because they're all human beings like everybody else. And that is the problem, that you focus on the drama because that's where the money is, right? Instead of showing these people in all facets and making them more of a well-rounded, more relatable and likable character. That is the problem. But whatever. What was I talking about? Yeah, so Raz-B talked about the fact that they've spent probably over $100,000 on booty, and they did nothing to receive no money back. And I say, child, I just can't. So they're trying to come up with something. Then Raz-B makes a joke about Carry On, say, "Oh, you need to hit up Kurt Franklin so we can get in the studio." Carry On didn't say anything, but Prince was just like, well, he don't like people talking about his dad. And, Prince kind of took up for Carry On in that moment. I guess they've had private conversations about his relationship with his dad. So, yeah. So, I mean, that was a nice little moment, I guess, for Prince to take up for Carry On. Okay. Let me see. After that, we see Jonathan in his confessionals. He looks good in his burgundy fur, child. Makeup done. He was beat. And we see Jonathan. He's talking about, getting the house together, blah, blah, blah. So all the boys, minus Ara, for whatever reason, they all sit down and talk about the finale and how they're going to, they need to have a big party situation and how they're going to do it. Darrell shuts everybody down, said y'all didn't do nothing anyway, referring to Jonathan's party because it was only him and Chef D that did most of it. But I don't think they wanted anybody else to do anything. Did they ask it? I can't remember if they asked anybody if they wanted to do something, or was it just a private thing because y'all are Jonathan's closest friends. So I imagine that y'all would have felt some kind of way had somebody else stepped up to the plate to try to also help with Jonathan. But I don't know, I could be wrong. But I don't think they asked the cast. And then, Darrell said that, and then Jonathan was just like, oh, y'all ain't did nothing anyway. I'm talking about you and Chef D. Y'all didn't do this, y'all didn't do that. And I think he was just playing, but I was just like, well, that was kind of rude, Jonathan. Like Relly said, if it wasn't for him and Chef D, there would have been no party for you, because some other boys would have just gave you a nightlight and called it a day and said happy birthday and bought you some chocolates from the dollar store. Or maybe that's what I would have did. I don't know. It depends on how nice she was to me that day. So, they put Chef D in charge. He's an event planner. And so he's talking about a lot of stuff and, choosing the lounge route versus a bar or club route, and the different fees and all that. Chef D, he knows about a lot of that stuff. So Chef D was the one that was put in charge of planning the event, etc. Y'all make sure y'all give Chef D his money, okay? Cash out. Okay. So let me see. So they got on the song. We still doing the song thing, child. I don't know why. Raz-B feeling some kind of way because he wasn't on the song, because that's when he was showing out acting a fool. And so they started to play the song. Darrell's over it. He's sitting there with his legs crossed. He hates the song. He said he's just tired of being in the house with them. He wants to go home. Nobody's stopping you from going home, Darrell. So, it was just a moment. Let me see. So, in that moment, Chef D decided to tell the cast that he planned an activity for them, and the activity is boxing. I was just like, well, that's interesting. Once again, something I wouldn't have chosen. I don't know. I just whatever. I'm gonna say my opinions. Most of them. So some of them. We get to the whole boxing event. It's Floyd Mayweather. He has a boxing, not a store, just a space, I guess, for boxers. He owns the building, in Dallas. So that's cool. So they get there. It looks very nice and stuff in there. Everybody's playing around. Jonathan's beating up Carry On and stretching out Chef D and all that kind of stuff. I was like, oh, I would have caught a cramp. It was funny though. It was fun watching Jonathan and Chef D act the fool in there. It was funny. Also on the car ride there, we found out that Raz-B does not have a GED or high school diploma because this is around the time when B2K was popping, and there you go. There was no time, etc. There's a lot of stars that I'm sure that don't young stars that don't have high school diplomas or whatever, or had to do homeschooling, however. But hopefully Raz-B goes back and get it because it is important to have. And I think he can do it. I think he's probably at a better place in his life than he was, where he can, a less busy place in his life than he was back then, and he can kind of focus on and accomplish that, and he'll feel real good about himself. So hopefully Raz-B go back and at least get his GED. So let me see. Anything else happening on the bus? No. Okay, so all of a sudden we see Bobby Lights. And he's a part of Zeus too, child, with the Bobby Show, etc., which I still have not watched. Bobby Show. I still haven't watched Baddies West, Baddies South. I'm slacking, child. Life is just kicking my tail, I tell you. Once I leave work, I don't have no more energy. I really don't. I have to work so hard there. It's just so much. It's so much. It takes me out. I maybe got a good 3 hours left when I get home before I just clock out. And by the time I wake up, it's time for work again. And those 3 hours I have is usually dedicated to my mom. So it's tough. Pray for me. Bobby Lights come in. He offers them a proposition. He was just like, yo, I got $5K for whoever the big winner is. Because, I guess Natalie or Lemuel or somebody done told them that this cast is hurting for money because they done spent all their money on stripper booty. So they need to make some money back. So it's just like, well, it's $5K on the line, champ. So we get to the whole boxing ring. First, we got Chef D versus Prince. Prince was knocking Chef D all around the thing, ping pong. Chef D ended up saying, child, I quit. I'm tired of this. I can't breathe, and it's a wrap. So Prince won that way. Then we got Carry On and Darrell. Darrell told Carry On out the goddamn frame. Dot, 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 out the goddamn frame. It'd be so funny, because Carry On be talking all that crap every time and get chewed up every time. Carry On, when you gonna put something on your OnlyFans? Now, you done had this OnlyFans page for weeks, but it's zero content. Ain't nothing on there. Not a foot, not an elbow. What's going on, Carry On? You better not charge nobody no $20 in there. You need no more than 10. But you know how the girls do on OnlyFans. They'll charge $10 to get in there, but then offer them 2-second clips and say, oh, hit the inbox. Then for the real stuff, they try to charge $50 in the inbox. Carry On, don't do no scam, because you ain't going to get no money. Okay? That's all the boys do from the Bad Boys Club. Ain't nobody did nothing but create OnlyFans. What's the point of going on here fighting and acting a fool, ruining the rest of your life, and all you get from the show is an OnlyFans page? I don't know. But anyway, so that was that. Darrell won that, right? And so then we got Mo City and Adonis, which was a good match. Y'all know Mo City snuck Adonis, like he snuck 2 other people this season. And it was a good match, child, but I think Adonis had just ate a Big Mac or something because he was just kind of slow. He just went with it. But Mo City is out of everybody. Mo City is probably in the most shape out of everybody, the most fit for sure. And he's quicker. But I believe Adonis hits harder, in my opinion. Just looking at the visuals. So Mo City ended up winning. He got more hits in than Adonis, but he didn't beat Adonis up or nothing. But when Adonis connects, he connects, and Mo City feels it. So but in this situation, Mo City had the upper hand. They had a little argument exchange afterwards or whatever, but it wasn't a big deal. Mo City always has something slick to say especially when it comes to competitive things. And then they started to go back and forth and whoop to whoop. And yeah, I don't think there's just I think it's a respect thing there, but I don't think they actually like each other, Mo and Adonis. As friends, as people. It's just a competition thing, I feel. I hate that it's the light versus the dark, but I mean, hey. Let me see. People online talking about Adonis is ugly and all that. I don't think Adonis is ugly. I think Adonis is cute. I do. Some of that is colorism, low key, but nobody wants to talk about that, do they? So let me see. The last fight was Raz-B in Orlando. They was just playing around, acting a fool. It was cute. So next episode, we're going to have Prince versus Darrell, which is going to be a good one. Because they height the same, and that's going to be a good match for real. And then I guess whoever wins that is going to go against Mo City. So it's probably going to be Prince versus Mo City. And I'm assuming Mo City will probably win that at $5,000. So we'll see. All right, Jonathan, they didn't fight. I would have been sitting right beside them. I'm not going to be bothered, child. With that said, I'm MrChalaki. MrChalaki on Google+. Follow me at @itskinsworld on Instagram and Twitter, at @itskinsworld89 on Snapchat, Chase King on Facebook, MrChalaki on Cash App and PayPal, Chasey Boy on TikTok. And as always, run me my money or run me my fade. Run me my money the way I get paid. Stay black, stay tuned. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.